この番組はご覧のスポンサーの提供でお送りします。
Alrighty, welcome everyone. I'm Teeaboo and I'm here for Mushoku Tensei episode 12. I'm not going to make any stupid jokes about it because I already made them in the first version of my recording of this and it's gone. I just recorded about 15 minutes of stuff before looking over and realizing that I wasn't recording. Great. Let's get to the comment spotlight, because that's what I was doing anyway. Captain Wolfbane writes, I think Rudy is not head patting Kurt because head pats, in Rudy's mind at least, are for children. In this moment, Rudy has just been corrected on Kurt's group being warriors, so to give him head pats would be going back on that. It's the same thing he does with Rudy at the end of the episode, clasping him on the shoulder. When up to this point, he's given Rudy head pats. This seems utterly correct to me. My previous reading of this scene didn't make any sense from the beginning. This reading makes perfect sense. I appreciate your correction immensely, Captain Wolfbane, because I believe that you are correct. Very first question. Great episode to end the Kuron. So much to unpack. Ties all the small crumbles of development Detto Endo experience thanks to meeting each other, on top of having all these cool action sequences. Great personal development for Ruijerd. Ruijerd, as we first met him, probably would not hesitate to kill the horse dude. Guaranteed. Guaranteed. I believe it. He learned to hold back thanks to meeting Rudy and Eris. He also learned that children have their own thoughts and feelings too from the fight with Eris and Rudius in the previous episode. He always thought children were mythical creatures that only exist to be protected until then. He is not protecting their lives alone anymore, but also their emotions, their pride. Also a great personal development for Rudius. As we have seen in previous controversial episodes, he learned to treat people he is close to with respect and treat them like human, but he was still treating everyone else, the people he wasn't close to and hadn't had a bond with, as though they were NPCs in his great D&D RPG adventure. He had not internalized the most important phrase, which is, people are people are people are people, regardless of where they are or how friendly they are or whether they're your enemies. Excellent. Excellent. I would add a couple things. So, Ruijerd, as we first met, would probably not hesitate to kill the horse dude. Agreed. 100% murdered. He's a bad guy and he's evil. Black and white. But he holds back. Even if he doesn't believe that he necessarily should, he holds back. He also learned that children have their own thoughts and feelings too from the fight with Eris and Rudius in the previous episode. Something about this, I hate to use the phrase because it's so colored, it's so miscolored by misuse. He's very white knighty, right? That is what it is, right? The whole idea of the social white knight is the person who doesn't, in dating, for example, is the person who doesn't understand women at all and doesn't get close to them, doesn't recognize that they're people, right? That they're flawed people. Treats them as though they are upon a pedestal, grand things to protect princesses, right? And goes and fights other people for what they perceive as misogyny or being detrimental or whatever. Ruijerd does that to children. Children aren't people. They can't cause harm. They can't make mistakes. They're perfect. And he puts them up on a pedestal and ignores that they have their own emotions and feelings and these people things about them, right? So it's this like, we must protect these glorious things by keeping them in a cage away from all danger and safe and over there. That's not how you adult to a child. That's not how you do it. So, always thought children were mythical creatures that only exist to be protected till then, right? They're barfing light and shitting rainbows, right? Well, children don't puke light and shit rainbows, and neither do women. Right? And so it's that same idea, the white knightiness of like, I am a pure and just soul out here to do what I know is right, even though I've never interacted with the people that I'm trying to protect. Well, if you actually interacted with them, you'd find out that they don't puke light and shit rainbows. They puke and they shit. And if you're a parent or you're near children, you're gonna have to clean it up and smell it. And they're not perfect. They fuck shit up, and you can blame shit on them. Even though they're blameless, right? With children, specifically, right? It's the child's fault that he shat on your floor, and you can't blame him for it. Because he's a child. What a weird contradiction, right? It's 100% that child's fault that he shit and puked all over you. And you can't blame him for it, because it's not his fault. Even though it's 100% his fault. It's these guild members' fault completely that they went in unprepared against an enemy that would kill them all. And it's not their fault, because they're dumb children as well. Until the moment that they say, no, it is our fault. And the moment that somebody takes responsibility for their own actions and they say, no, it is my fault, I shit on the floor. They're doing a change thing, and you stepping in and going, no, buddy, no, it's not your fault. You're just an idiot kid who didn't know what was up, is detrimental. It's just detrimental. It's perfect. It's excellent. Whole episode was a perfect wake-up call to Rudy that guild members A, B, and C that exist to further his own personal goals were actually humans too. Big surprise. He couldn't even look at Rudy's face after that incident during the whole episode because he knew he was in the wrong, and on top of that, one of the survivors defended his pride as a warrior with everything he had, even though he could have blamed Rudy for it too. I'm going to say that again without yawning. One of the survivors defended his pride as a warrior with everything he had, even though he could have blamed Rudius for it too. I feel like him not blaming Rudius hurt Rudius even more with his guild and made the conversation at the end all the more worthwhile. In the previous time that I recorded this beginning of the episode, I branched off of this to say, this is the justification for apologizing in a situation where you believe that you have done nothing wrong. It is a manipulative, narcissistic thing to do this way. So I'm giving you this tool and use it carefully, but it is a tool. You and somebody get in a fight. They're the one who caused the fight. They're the one who's irrational. They're the one who blew up and didn't control their anger. They're the one who yelled in an uncomfortable circumstance and made the whole thing stupid. And they're the one who hasn't mended any bridges or come back to talk to you or whatever. Probably because they don't know how to resolve conflicts. You, as the person who did nothing wrong in your own mind, it is your responsibility to go and apologize to them. Despite doing nothing wrong. And it is your responsibility to clench your fucking teeth and look them in the eye and go, I am so sorry that our conversation went the way that it did, and that I've hurt your feelings. It is more important to me that our relationship continues than that we continue to be angry at each other over this thing. I'd really like to be able to discuss with you why we feel the way that we do about this. I am so sorry that it turned this way. Lying straight through your teeth. It's fine. It's the one time I'm going to tell you to lie. Here's why. It shames them. It hurts a lot to have when you know that you did something wrong, and you do, when you know that you did something wrong, it hurts a lot to have the person who so far has been on the high ground come to you and apologize. It's shameful as fuck because they're taking the high road now. Ooh, it hurts and it makes you want to apologize back. And most of the time, that's exactly what happens. If you open the floor to an apology, even if you've done nothing wrong from your own perspective, and let's be clear, you have done something wrong. There's no such thing as an argument where it's truly always one-sided. It just doesn't exist. So part of the whole spiel at the beginning is just to appease your ego, because there is actually something that you have to apologize for at some level, probably, unless you're in a deeply abusive, fucked up relationship, in which case you just need to leave. There's no apology thing, and you're far enough along that you probably are aware of that. Lots of caveats here. But if you just get in a fight with somebody who you're otherwise friends or good relations with, go and apologize to them. Most of the time, it will shame them into apologizing to you. Regardless, it will mend the bridge between you in a way that's really, really important. And so it falls in here with Rudy probably wouldn't have felt this as much as he did if this guy didn't take radical responsibility for something that he was not responsible for. If he hadn't come in and found the kid, like, trying to clean his shit up off the floor, right? And going, oh, no, it's my fault. I'm so sorry. Rudy has to go, oh, shit, dude. No, it's my fault. I locked all the bathrooms. Yikes. Oops. It's really great. It's great. It's great. It works great. Go apologize to people if you feel like they should be the ones apologizing to you. Flip it around on yourself, take responsibility for the interaction, even if you don't believe that you are, and go apologize to them and watch your relationship be mended. Watch it be mended. And really question to yourself, is it worth remaining angry about this thing? Or would I rather be friends or at least cordial with this person? And the answer is usually that you'd rather be cordial with this person, and usually that if you can swallow the pride and go and say the words, it will fix the problem, even if you don't believe the words. And I'm not going to say that you have to believe those words. It's like the one time when I would say dishonesty is acceptable, because it will become honesty as you speak to them, because they will eventually tell you that what you're apologizing for isn't what they actually want an apology for. They'll tell you what's really going on to some extent, if they have any self-awareness. It's great. It's fucking great. Crow Brown One. Hey, Crow. You're working on some specific things for yourself. This is your reminder that I hope you've been doing those things. And if you haven't, get to it. And this is your shame if you haven't been doing those things. You understand? I wish nothing but the best for you. I hope that you are doing the things or not doing the things that you need to do. Keep it up. And if you haven't been keeping it up, hopefully me praising you for keeping it up is shameful enough for you to incite some movement and some change. I believe in you. Keep it up. Crow Bronwyn, I cannot wait for each following episode, which is out of the norm for me. When I'm watching most reactors, my feeling is not, I cannot wait for the next episode. It is more of, I cannot wait for X episode. Right, you're waiting for a specific event to happen so that you can confirm how they feel about that particular thing, which makes perfect sense. What I'm trying to say is that I love your reactions and discussions, the way you pick apart scenes, talk about the metaphorical meanings, and articulate your thoughts. I'm bad at articulating my thoughts, so I'm jealous. Fair enough, keep trying. Is something that is meaningful and insightful to me, unlike what it's like with other reactors where something hype happens, they get hype, and neuron activation happens. Yeah, we talked about that a bit. I love your videos and have been watching you on and off ever since you were doing Monogatari second season. Much love and take care of yourself, Super T-Man. I will try. Thank you for your respect and love, and back at you in every possible way, Crow. Unlike what it's like with other reactors where something hype happens, they get hype and neuron activation happens. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I don't think there's anything. It goes back to a conversation that we had maybe on this piece of media, maybe on a different piece of media, around just watching things for the purpose of entertainment or escapism. I don't think that that's wrong. I don't think there's anything wrong with just watching shows with people and getting mirroring from it. I've watched like a dozen Avatar The Last Airbender reactions, at least the first few episodes of them, and I fucking love it. Why? Well, something about watching people watch this thing and be like, I guess this is like a kid's cartoon from like a decade ago. I guess we're going to try. Wow, it's cool. This is like cool. And watching their faces go from like, I don't know what this is. What? It's interesting. It's very validating. It's like, yes, yeah, it is interesting. It's really cool. It's like really cool, man. Or watching people watch JoJo's at first and having them just like, the fuck is this? This is dumb. And then they watch more JoJo's, and eventually by Jonathan, they start to like click and get it a little bit. It's like, oh, there's some cool story going on here. Whoa, weird. So much fun to me. I really, really love it. I really like it a lot. It's fun. There's value out of that stuff. I mean, there's value in just rewatching the piece of media from your own standpoint on your own, and then you get to do it with somebody else adding to it a little bit, and that adds a bit of a layer, and that's useful. That's good. I got nothing against hype reactors, or whatever you want to call them, hype beast reactors. I'm one of them sometimes, right? Like, it's part of what I do, an incomplete part of what I do, I think, but it is an important part of what I do, and a part of what drew me to it in the first place. You know, like, reaction videos were something that existed, and I saw a bunch of them, and I was like, I could do this, and I could do it, I could add to it, I could make these more interesting, you know? I watched the Semblance of Sanity videos, a lot of them in their early years, a lot of them, and I watched them interact and discuss and talk about things, and I watched the way that they discussed them and what they focused on, and I decided that I would do things a little bit differently, but follow in certain footsteps, but do things a little bit differently, and I think I have. But there's nothing wrong with going and watching those hype reactors and getting that neuronal activation and that feeling of togetherness. Like, that's a huge core of what we're going for. Picking apart the media, dissecting it, that's a different intent. It's a different desire. It's a different goal. It's a different goal set. It's a different perspective. And both are valuable, I think. I don't necessarily think that one is, well, that's not true. I do think that the more depth that's in a piece of media, the more valuable it is, frankly. And so I would say, as I said in my last videos, I think I am the best at this. I don't think anybody is better than me. Not right now. And I intend to continue improving so that nobody can get better than me. And I will be humble if I'm shown someone who is better than me. Film buff and psychculturists, they're out there, and they're not bad. They're pretty fucking good. And I have nothing but respect for them. But I want to beat the shit out of them. I want to be way better than they are. I want to be by far the deepest, the most correct, the most interesting, with the best community and the best discussions for the shows that I watch, period. And I only want to watch the shows that engage that kind of discussion because they are valuable, they make sense, and they're interesting to me. And I love that shit. It fulfills me. It makes me excited, and it fulfills me. It's not just some stupid competitive thing, or I just want it because I want it. It's because it's of value. It's like if you're gonna write a book, you try to write the best damn book. If you're gonna draw a piece of art, you try to draw the best piece of art. Now, to be clear, there's something about that, which is the study on photographers. This was in Atomic Habits, I think. This is somebody writing an article about a section on Atomic Habits, which is wonderful. The danger of aiming perfection. I'm gonna straight up read an excerpt from Atomic Habits for you. I don't have my copy of the book because I've lent it to a friend, and I want it back. The danger of aiming for perfection. On the first day of class, Jerry Ullsman, a professor at the University of Florida, divided his film photography students into 2 groups. Everyone on the left side of the classroom, he explained, would be in the quantity group. They would be graded solely on the amount of work they produced. On the final day of class, he would tally the number of photos submitted by each student. 100 photos would rate an A, 90 a B, 80 a C, and so on. Meanwhile, everyone on the right side of the group would be in the quality group. They would be graded only on the excellence of their work. They would only need to produce 1 photo during the semester, but to get an A, it had to be a nearly perfect image. At the end of the term, he was surprised to find that all the best photos were produced by the quantity group. During the semester, these students were busy taking photos, experimenting with composition and lighting, testing out various methods in the darkroom, and learning from their mistakes. In the process of creating hundreds of photos, they honed their skills. Meanwhile, the quality group sat around speculating about perfection. In the end, they had little to show for their efforts, other than unverified theories and 1 mediocre photo. So, if I were to sit here and think really hard for a really long time about how to make the best reaction video, I would end up making 1 video and it would be pretty trash. But if I sit here and I make a video every day for years, and I make thousands of videos, I might come to something interesting, and I might make a couple of videos over the course of those that are, like, really meaningful. You know, like the last couple of 3-hour-long Mushoku Tensei videos where I've delved pretty deep on some pretty interesting subjects, I think, in a pretty interesting way. As we get, we're thousands of videos into my channel's history. Thousands. I've sat here in front of this computer in different houses, in different locations, thousands of times. And I've hit that record button and I've gotten going thousands of times. And I've edited videos down and uploaded them thousands of times. How many videos are on my channel right now? Actually, how many are actually on my channel? 1,828 videos. That's not super high. Feels like it should be higher than that already. Oh well, 1,828 videos. It's a little bit of iteration, you know? It's a few tries at this. It's like a couple of opportunities to improve a little bit. And it's working, I think. It fluctuates, but I think it's working, by and large. I think we're getting better, by and large. That's fucking cool. Quantity, iteration over quality. Absolutely. Kamo Doge ain't got much to add this week besides the fact that I've always loved that moment when Rudy is trying to figure out what to do about Horse Guy and Eris reaches out to him and just gently holds her hand. It's really sweet. No sleaze or dark intentions, just a genuine feeling of affection to my eyes. I actually read that scene really differently from you do, so I'd like to pull it up and talk to you about it in the context of another piece of media really quick. Let me pull it up. This moment. 大丈夫ですよ. I've got this. I have to bring this girl Eris back to her home. Even if I have to wipe this whole city off the map to make that happen. This is the darkest moment of Rudius. The darkest, not the lightest. It's the opposite. I'm sorry to be so straightforward about this, but I think your reading of this scene is exactly wrong, Kamo Doge. Exactly wrong. And I'm going to pull up a frame of Oyasumi Punpun to talk you through it. Even if I have to wipe this whole city off the map, it begins to glow. Here's why. Evil as evil for the purposes of destruction does not exist. True evil is always for the purposes of protecting something holy. He says in this moment, I will do anything to protect Eris. And in saying, I will do anything to accomplish this task, he opens the door to all action, including all destruction and all evil. Let's go to Punpun. Okay, I'm sorry this is going to spoil some stuff for Punpun. I'm going to avoid the direct and serious spoilers for the most part, but there is some stuff here that's spoiled, okay? Don't worry about that now. You just do what you want. We have this sexual temptation as well. No matter what happens, I'll protect you. Rumble. Okay. This line from Punpun, no matter what happens, I'll protect you, is the shift in him to murderous, to capable of anything. And he goes through and he does it. No matter what happens, I'll protect you. I have to accomplish this task of getting Eris home, no matter what, even if it means destroying an entire city. That is the darkest moment of Rudius. It is not pure. It is false purity. It is, this person is a golden idol of perfection that I must protect. She pukes light and shits rainbows, and it is worth destroying an entire city to save her. That is the darkest thought. Not the lightest. It comes from a place of purity and protection, and that is where evil actually stems. I don't know if I can phrase this effectively. The Nazi impulse, by the way, just to put this in some clarity, I am ethnically Jewish, and my people and my race have been run out of multiple countries over the course of history, just to put things in perspective. The Nazi German hatred of the Jews was less hatred and more protection. It was a disgust response grounded in the belief firmly held that the Jews were destroying the protectable, the society that must be protected. The Aryan state, the future of whatever, right? That was the thought. It was not a destructive impulse, it was a protective impulse. It was the feeling of, I'm the one being attacked, therefore I must lash out. It's the victim mentality. It's the, I must protect this beautiful thing. The youth. The youth are being corrupted. Now, does that sound familiar to certain talking points in our current political landscape? It should, because that's where it stems from. Not hatred, protection. A desire to keep safe. A desire to white knight without understanding. Save the youth! The youth are foolish and cannot protect themselves. We must destroy all things that could corrupt the youth. Save Eris. We must destroy an entire city in order to protect this girl. No, no, no. This is the darkest moment. This is the scariest moment from Rudy. I have to do it. There's a reason that we get all sunny in this moment, too. The sun is setting. The sun is setting. Leave this to me. I have to bring this girl Eris back to my home. This goes, and everything goes black, white, and gray. He sucks all the color out of this world, and she looks on with fear. Whoa. Even if it would mean betraying Rudyard, even if it would mean betraying all of you, he is ready to murder. In this moment. He sees the face of evil in this horse guy, and he goes, I'm down to kill that guy. Fuck him. He's in my way. And he lets go of Eris's hand here. Why does he let go of her hand? Because you can't be connected to the person that you want to protect. When you're a murderer, you can't look at children anymore. They shame you by their very purity. Focus on evil, becoming the monster to slay the monster. He almost does it. And Rudyard is the one who shocks him out of it, and we get color in the scene. Rudyard is already stained by violence. He doesn't mind showing it. And in this moment, he is actually protecting Rudy. Right? From himself. From having to become as evil as he is. It's fucking really good. This is really good storytelling. It's great. So I'm sorry, but I fundamentally at a base level disagree with you, Kamodoge, and I'm sorry, because I see that you care about this moment a lot. But it's really sweet. No sleaze or dark intentions, just purity. Just pure intent, right? That's the problem, man. There is no sleaze in Rudy. He is aligned with truth. This girl is worth protecting. To any extent necessary. Suddenly he's not aligned with truth. Because he's willing to do anything to protect the tiniest thing that he's found that is true. It's like if you put your family above all else, you'd be willing to murder anyone to protect your family. To destroy another family to protect your own. If you put your nation above all else, you'd be willing to destroy any other nation to protect your own. If you value children above all else, you'd be willing to destroy other people's lives to protect children. If you value anything as an absolute, you're a fool. Except for this. Just like everything else with strange loops, the only absolute is the one that defines the system of no absolutes. You have to believe in that one, and it's not encapsulated within its own strange loop. Oh, so cool. So cool. Random Thorn. Gosh darn it, Teeaboo. Every week I spend trying to tell myself all these important things I need to do can wait one more week. Not only do you come in talking about all the positive things we could be doing to benefit ourselves, but you give me the perfect opportunity to do productive things while you're discussing last week's comments. You bring up cleaning your room, so I feel compelled to do a little myself. There's plenty more time, so why not get started on some of the work I had to do? I just can't escape the positive messages. Yeah, that's how I felt before I read Atomic Habits. I was looking at the book like, shit. As soon as I open this book and I read it, I'm gonna have to do all the things that I'm supposed to do. Fuck. Damn it. Damn. I love it. I'm very glad. Clean your room. Look around yourself, see if there's anything on your desk that you can go and put away in the kitchen now. Is there any laundry on your floor that's not sitting in your laundry basket? Should you go and do laundry? Just some things to mention that you might want to do. Just some things to mention. Try it. See if you can start instilling a habit in yourself. You know, go buy the books, go read, go become, think about media better. I've figured out a couple of little things. I'm trying to share them as much as I can. And in the process of sharing them, I'm getting better insights back from people who've understood them already, you know? And figuring out a better picture of the whole process. And I fucking love it. Fucking love it. I will say a couple of things. Audiobooks. I find that they really help. Don't use Audible. I've actually come to dislike Audible as a company at the moment. They're fine. If you like them, go for it. I would recommend torrenting and stealing audiobooks. That's my actual general recommendation for most pieces of media. Go and steal them. I don't mind. You can steal my media. I don't mind. Fuck them. Fuck paywalls. But in all seriousness, I find that audiobooks are fantastic because I'll find myself stuck in a story in an audiobook and I will actively avoid tasks that are mentally challenging because I want to keep listening to the audiobook. And that leads to me like, well, I vacuumed my room last week, but I guess I might as well do it again today. And I suppose I should organize all of these. And, oh, there are some dishes that I could do. And 4 hours later, I've spent 4 hours just walking around cleaning the house. It's like, why did I do all of this? Oh, right, it's so that I could continue listening to the Stormlight Archive and find out what Kaladin is going to do next. Excellent stuff. I also really enjoy listening to NADPod or Dimension 20 or actual play D&D shows because they're fun and in the background. Having something that's audio only is really helpful for me. So I totally feel you, and I hope that you enjoy my little podcast sections at the beginning of these videos. So, good. In all seriousness, says Random Thorn, I hope you take pride in that you are genuinely helping everyone who watches these videos. That's not true. Not everyone can hear every truth. And not everything that I say is true. So I'm not always helping. And not everyone can be helped. It's the Monogatari idea. You can't help people. People can only help themselves. What you can do is you can lead a horse to water. And eventually when the horse decides that it needs some water, it can drink from the things that you've put in front of it. To some large extent, I don't think that revelations are going to happen for most of the people while they're watching my videos. That's not the way that it's going to work. I don't think that you have those revelations when you read the book or whatever, or see the show. I think that you have them a week, a month, a year later when some things all go click and all the stuff that you've got that's sort of floating unincorporated about the piece of media comes into contact with like a real situation in your life or some other piece of media or some explanation or some line or something, and it all goes and you just dream it together and it all clicks and suddenly you go, oh, I got it. I get it. And so my sincerest hope is that a few months down the line for some of you, a moment will happen where you'll go, oh, that Teeaboo idiot was talking about like personal responsibility and taking motivation. I just saw it happen in my real, oh, or we'll go like, I'm in this circumstance where they did something wrong to me and I wish that they would apologize. And oh yeah, that idiot, he told me that maybe I should apologize. Oh, that's stupid, but I'm going to give it a try. And then you try it and you find out that it works and it breaks your entire structure of how interaction should go because it's nuts that it works. God, I hope so. God, I hope so. I always believed that I was doing my best to change, but it was not until these videos that I understand that I could be doing more. True. I have been debating bringing up my own issues, but I am having trouble putting it into words, and I don't feel it is fair to everyone dealing with worse situations. Therapy. Sorry. This one, you're not going to agree with it until it clicks with you, but go to therapy. That's a paid professional to do what I'm doing. All I really need is to find more motivation to do beneficial things and not laze about. I want to stop that. I want to cut that line out completely, Random Thorn. That is not correct. And And it's something that I'm having trouble integrating into my own understanding, because I believe fundamentally at some level within myself that it is correct, that motivation exists, and that like motivation is the thing that I need. And it's not true. And I'm having to deny myself when I start thinking that way, because it's not true. There's a line in Atomic Habits: we don't rise to the level of our goals, we fall to the level of our systems. Motivation is not useful. Systems are useful. Systems of habits, of doing the thing every damn time, whether you feel like it or not. That's what you need. Not motivation, systems. You need systems of behavior, systems of existence. Motivation to do beneficial things doesn't exist. You're not going to find the motivation every day to clean your room. You're not going to find the motivation every day to go and take a shower. You're not going to find the motivation every couple of days to go to the gym. You're not going to find the motivation to go and read a book. You're not going to find the motivation to go and write something. You're not going to find the motivation to go and draw. You're not going to find the motivation to go and sculpt. You're not going to find the motivation to go into work. You're not going to find the motivation to do anything. You will do what you have systematized. If you wake up every day and you read for 5 minutes, you will wake up every day and read for 5 minutes. If you wake up every day and read for 5 minutes and then you eat breakfast, you will wake up every day and then read for 5 minutes and then eat breakfast. If you blah, 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 and then you write something, you'll write something every day. If you blah, 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 and then you clean your room for 5 minutes, you'll clean your room for 5 minutes every day. Whether you're motivated to or not, if you keep relying on your fickleness, on your soul, on your desires, you will fail always. So this is true for me. It's as true for me as anything has ever been true for me. And so I think it is true for you, and it's in a book where, so far, in Atomic Habits, I haven't found anything that hasn't been true. As soon as I've implemented the things in that book that have been like, I don't know if that's true, it's been immediately true and accurate. They're like, yep, that's true. That works. And the systems thing feels correct. I've talked before about how I sometimes envision my life as a sine curve between something like chaos and rigidity, something that I've only been able to put into more specific terms because of another book, The Whole Brain Child, which literally envisions us as a seesaw on a little boat between the banks of chaos and rigidity, which is exactly the way that my life goes. And in that seesaw between chaos and rigidity, I find that when I slip furthest closest to chaos, I am at my most creative, and I'm also at the least rigid. My systems don't work. Or my motivation is gone. It's chaotic. It's in different directions. But there are certain things that I've habitualized and systematized. Get up, take certain pills, have breakfast, make tea maybe, take a shower, things like that. Every time I've added something into my identity, into my levels of systems, when I verge toward chaos, it stays. It stays, and I don't get quite as chaotic. For example, the gym. Going to the gym is now a part of me. It feels weird if I skip it. It feels wrong. Now, I could slip out of the habit over the course of a couple weeks if I just stopped going, but it is a part of me. I am the kind of person who goes to the gym 3 times a week. I go to the gym and I lift heavy 3 times a week. It's what I do. It is what I do. And when I slip into the deepest chaos, it doesn't change. Whether I'm motivated or not, I go to the gym 3 times a week. And that means that my baseline, if my baseline not going to the gym is here, this is my mental and physical health and all of the way that I am, my new baseline is here, and this is as far as I drop. Because my system includes the gym, and my system includes breakfast, and my system includes the shower, and my system includes, and I'm trying to get it included, my system includes waking up and recording a video even if I don't feel like it. It's a habit. It's a system. All I really need to do is find more motivation to do beneficial things and not laze about. Doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. Sorry. The motivation is fickle. Some days you'll have it, some days you won't. Systems. Build a system. Do it every time regardless of how you feel. Discipline is where it's at. Not willpower. Not willpower. Discipline. Manage your environment. Put all the things you don't want away from you. Put all the things you do want close to you. Manage your environment. Buy Atomic Habits and go and read it. I don't recommend things. I'm not sponsored. I'm not going to give you an Amazon link. I don't care. I don't want to make money off of this. I want you to make money off of this. Go buy Atomic Habits and read it. Whole thing, top to bottom. Go read the whole book. Systems, not motivation. And this is, I keep saying this so vehemently because this is a lesson that I have not internalized. I know it logically, and I don't quite know it emotionally. And I'm trying to learn it emotionally. I'm trying to force myself to learn it emotionally. It's hard, but it's true. It's absolutely true. I've debated bringing up my own issues. Therapy. Go find somebody in a safe place where you can pay them a little bit of money and talk about your issues, and they will help you. And if they don't help you, go find a different therapist from a different profession or a different line, a different lineage. Go try CBT. Go try psychoanalysis. Go try different types of therapy, because there are different types of therapy. And talk to somebody. Because that process of articulating, of putting it into words, will let you grapple with yourself. It will let you label yourself. It's amazing. It's amazing. Okay. Anutham Suresh. Finally, an episode where I have something useful to add that no one else already has. A layer that I think most people miss when looking at this episode, and which is crucial to understanding Rudy and Rudyard's reconciliation later, is that Rudyard does exactly the same thing that Rudy does. Why, you ask? What do we find when the party runs up upon the red cobra? Pig guy is dying in its mouth and the other members are dead. Who could have stopped them? Dead end. Why didn't they? Because Rudyard, prioritizing his own values just like Rudy, insists that they follow the children and protect them. Rudyard's insistence on protecting the children cost the lives of that adventuring party, 3+ people, just as surely as Rudy's insistence on treating this as a video game and profiteering got Gablin the bird kid killed. Neither of them are entirely to blame for how things turned out, and neither are blameless either. I think Rudyard realizes this after the fight, and I think it plays a big role in how quickly they come around to reconciling. Most people seem to not notice or discuss this. Either way, this episode has some excellent examples of inter-party conflict and resolution. Enjoyed your discussion on how the framing relates to the idea of letting go of your weapon. Looking forward to the next one. See you later, T. Yeah, I got very little to add here. I think this is a layer that I don't fully see in the episode, but I see how you see it in the episode, and it makes some sense to me. Definitely. I also think that it fits really well with the way that we've been doing hypocrisy for Rudyard in previous episodes. The episode where Eris punches the kid and Rudyard doesn't care, and then, you know, the guy kicks Rudy and Rudyard cuts his head off. It's like, wow, Rudyard, there are some double standards here. Same idea. He thinks, no, we prioritize our own values, only the children matter, and he gets 3 people killed. Effectively, he does. They could have gone after them and tried to save them. But they're assholes, so who cares? They're not worth saving. They're assholes. But they're people, right? Maybe they're not worth saving compared to some children. Now, I personally would follow the morality there, right? If we've got a train, and there are 3 kids over here, and 3 adults over there, and I get to choose which way the train goes, I'm going to switch the train tracks to hit the adults every damn time. Because that fits my personal morality. It's simple. It's really simple. Children have possibility. Adults have less possibility. The overall potential for children to experience pleasure and pain and just general experience is much greater than that of adults. They have more years that they could live. Simple as that. It's fundamentally the same reason why I think a human life is worth more than an animal's life in most cases. The degree to which a human is capable of experiencing multifaceted, complicated pain and pleasure is much higher than that of an animal, and in most cases, humans live longer than animals. You combine those two things, and the human has more capacity on a purely utilitarian level. The human has more capacity to experience joy and pleasure and happiness than the animal. So by killing the animal and saving the human, you produce a net increase in all of the positive things that you could have produced. No, it's a dumb hypothetical, because when do you ever get into that circumstance where it's one versus the other? But I think we all choose to kill the dog over the person every time. Every time. I think you actually have to be deeply self-hating to think otherwise. And I think you can be deeply self-hating to the point where you think that humans are a plague upon the world and deserve to be destroyed. A lot of people seem to believe that. That's a scary thought. But you look at staunch PETA members who will say things like, yeah, I'd kill a person if it saved a rabbit. And I have to look at them and go, rabbits live for like 10 years, man. I don't know. How long do rabbits live? 5 to 10 years. Rabbits live for like 10 years. And they're dumb. And they're not capable of feeling very much. Really, like, we can prove it. You think that's more valuable than a human fucking being? I don't think so. So what I'm saying is, like, I would choose the children in every circumstance. But Rudyard doesn't do the calculus, right? He just follows the thing that he believes anyway. He doesn't do that calculus inside his head. And so he does get them killed because he's not thinking about it. And it's great. It's great. Love it. So, a good and interesting point, Anatham. Julian Alberto Arce Sanchez. Sorry if I'm fucking up your name again. So here's an idea. Part of Rudy's path has been to really understand other people as people and not simply background characters or archetypes. That's his first interaction with Roxy, archetype, that eventually becomes a better understanding between them, person. Then Eris, archetype, a delinquent manga protagonist, which eventually blossoms into a relationship. And also with Rudyard, Death Knight, got more to him. What happened here was Rudy once again thinking of others in that mindset. Kurt and company are there to be saved at the last second. Their role in this story is to keep this plot of improving Rudyard Dead End's reputation, and the more dire their situation, the better for us. It doesn't cross Rudy's mind to think that they are people, that they are scared or possibly hurt. They are here to be tools of the plan, only for harsh reality to crash hard. Exactly. Absolutely. Maybe that's also the thing with Nokopara, the horse guy. Rudy has been breaking the rules in a way that could leave them without their only income source. They could have done things slow and steady, but they cooked their plot because that's how stories work. But when you cheat, you open yourself to other cheaters. Yep. Well, I also think there's a sliding scale of dickishness. So we first have an interaction that is conflicty with the squad of the trio of kids, and then immediately after that we recognize that that was not okay. We heal them and we reconcile and we realize that they're people, right? And that they're just like us, just not as smart, right? Then we go into the forest and we meet the pig guy, and they're kind of assholes, right? And then we go, well, they're assholes, so we don't really care about them. Let's go save the kids. And then we see them in danger and being destroyed, and we're like, well, they're assholes, but we should still save them anyway, right? Like, people are people are people are people, even if they're assholes. And then we go to Nokopara, and he is irredeemably an asshole, right? Beyond an asshole to being a fool and a monster and an exploiter and evil. And we say, well, here, surely, this is the place where we say, it is worth it for us to kill this guy in order to protect ourselves. This is the place where we say that, right? He's an asshole. We can feel free to destroy him. No worries. And Rudy almost does. And Rudyard almost does. But what do we find? Please, I've got kids. Now, he's just scrambling, trying to save his own hide. But we don't know if he's lying. Behind every asshole is a person. Nobody shits rainbows. Now, he might shit vitriol and acid. And it burns him on the inside, too. But Rudyard lets him go with just a warning. I will kill you if you don't change. But I won't kill you just for being an asshole today. I think he actually will learn from that, won't he? See, that's pretty interesting. We get the sliding scale. The kids who are essentially foolish, the trio, are essentially foolish, but not wrong or evil. They're just striving for something. The pig guy who's arrogant and kind of a jerk, but it's not worth letting him die. And the horse guy who is actively exploitative, causing direct harm, and it's still not worth letting him die because people are people are people are people. Vartic. Talking about the face being a mirror/screen, I always found it fascinating that robot/AI in sci-fi stories that interact with humans either have a humanoid head complete with antennas, sensors, speakers, and fake muscles to imitate a human visage, or they just have a monitor displaying a face. It's like saying that all those sensors are nice to have, but can we put them somewhere else as an afterthought? What's important is that we have something to interface with. Yeah, 100%. We need faces. We need them real bad. There's also something else to that, which is that there's the embodied theory of consciousness, which is that essentially any AI that we do is not going to be functional until it can actually cause material change in its environment. Like physically being embodied is a crucial part of artificial or of intelligence. Effectively, like you're just a quantum observer until you're capable of manipulating the world, and then you become observer as actor as observer, and that's the process that produces consciousness. Sorry, it's some weird quantum stuff that I'm thinking about in terms of the way that our brains work, but I'm onto something. It's not quite correct. It's like 50% wrong. Like everything I say, it's like about 50% wrong, but the 50% that's right is gold. Is goddamn gold, man. But I've only got like half the magnet most of the time, and it's all magnets and we know. Faces, they're really important. We really like them. It's why media with robots that don't have faces is always dumb. It's always dumb, and we don't like them very much. They always feel weird. It's great. Laconic Kibitz just drops a single line from themselves. Cringe is what people feel when they see extreme enthusiasm out of context. Yeah. I like that. Let me go find something, let me go find ContraPoints on this. Okay, this is much easier. I just found the transcript for cringe by ContraPoints. There are a bunch of great lines throughout here. I guess it's not really cringe if I'm trying to be cringe. Cringe is failed seriousness. In my last video, I talked about how ashamed I am of being a trans lesbian. Cringe, shame. Great. I'm just searching for cringe is. In-group cringe is when you cringe at someone who belongs to the same group identity as you, so for example, your family, your romantic partnership, your ethnicity, or your country, particularly if they're embarrassing yourself in front of outsiders to the group. Now, I want this to end this video by reflecting on whether cringe is good or bad, healthy or harmful, and I do think that in some situations, cringe is good. Embarrassment serves a social purpose. It helps us to interact smoothly, and this is shame, interact smoothly with each other by telling us what not to do. And empathizing with other people's embarrassing stories can be cathartic. It can make you feel closer to other people, more alike, less alone. I also think a moderate amount of self-cringe is very healthy. It shows that you're self-aware and that you care at least a little bit about what other people think. You know, I've met people who never cringe at themselves, and let's just say that they are not my kind of people. They're narcissists who think super highly of themselves regardless of how they're actually coming across. But I think partly out of fear of ending up like one of those people, I've overcompensated and I cringe too much, both at myself and at other people. It's a habit that is making me hate myself, and it's making me unfairly contemptuous toward others. And when I take a look around the internet like I've done in this video, I find that I'm not alone in this situation, and it's not cute. Fucking excellent video. God, Contra is so good. The function of awkwardness, this is Vsauce Michael here, the function of awkwardness is that it sands social dynamics by smoothing out what even etiquette doesn't rule on. Cringe is the electric shock, the emotional punishment for being awkward. It enforces the limits of socially acceptable behavior by wounding the ego, and memories of your cringy moments are often just as painful as the moments themselves. But cringe is also the gatekeeping. It's the way of preventing people from going out beyond themselves. It's the way of keeping everyone in a line. It's the way of a society saying, no, we don't do that here. But what if we should be doing that here? What if we all should be creative and speaking our truth regardless of how it's going to make other people feel or whether it makes us cringe? What if cringe can be courageous? Well, I think it can. I think it is. And that's why I put up that rap and I stand by it. And I'll continue to do so if I have another bit of inspiration. And I'll put up a video of myself on LSD watching Kill la Kill, and I don't care that there are people who will reject me because of it, because the contents of that video are gold. Again, it's just good stuff. Awesome. Gabby G, rap comments remind me of PiP Available, ya boy Conming. I keep it up, and that's an anime that I guess I need to watch. Keep doing your art. I will. I will also keep refining it so that it becomes more interesting, but I will. Regarding advertisements, you mentioned about the book The Whole Brain Child. While you were speaking about it, I bought it. And then an hour later, you mentioned the comment about drinking tea and being influenced by media. Lol, very interesting. Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. Enjoy the book. It's a good book. It'll teach you lots of things. Go buy The Whole Brain Child, and then, hey, here's an advertisement. Go buy Atomic Habits. It will change your life. Yeah. Aditya Chakrabarti. I think that a drawback of living in a society is that everyone is suppressing some part of themselves in order to have a better standing among our peers. That's just the nature of society. Everyone is, you see this in Kill la Kill. Ryuko Matoi walks around with her scissor blade in a guitar case. Why? Because you can't walk around being dangerous or other people move away from you. You can't walk around with your scissor out going, I'm a fucking beast. Except that you actually can, and it's kind of fun too. And the whole journey that she goes on is one of exposing her real self to the world, and everybody, when Ryuko Matoi becomes a naked nudist and dons senketsu and is sexualized in front of the world and holds her scissor blade out, she is embarrassed by it at first until she comes to identify with it and be strong within it. And we emblematize Satsuki Kiryuin at the beginning. Why? Because she is comfortable in her own skin and fully capable of bearing herself sexually, nudely to the world and doesn't give a fuck what you think. And she is heroic in that moment. I value that heroism. I want to be a naked nudist. Everyone is suppressing some part of themselves in order to have a better standing among our peers? Yes, but we just watched it in the episode that we watched. Roxy walks around with her staff out and her hat on. She's a wizard. She's a mage. She's walking around embodying herself, right? These guys, they walk around with an axe out and a blade on her hip. They are embodying themselves, active, heroic in the world. Our characters walking around with all of their weaponry sheathed and wrapped, hidden from the world. Why? Because they're in an unfamiliar society and they have to act like they're not as dangerous as they are. End of the episode, the spears are out. Why? Why is his spear out? Now, Rudy's still got his wrapped up, right? But why is this spear out? Well, it's because he took the wrapping off of it. He decided to embody himself. He decided not to lie about this. He decided to show his truth. Not just his hair color, but his spear. The thing that is really his identity is his danger. And he unwraps it because being dishonest is not the way to be. You are correct, Aditya Chakrabarti. Everyone is suppressing some part of themselves in order to have a better standing among our peers. That is the nature of society. And if you are not doing that, you cannot be a part of society. If you are walking around a violent, hurtful, harmful, selfish, narcissistic individual, which you are at your core, you look at people and you want them, or you want to hurt them, or you want them away from you. You are down to get into a fight with people. And all of that animalistic, tribalist, rage, fear, hatred, destruction, all of those things have to be suppressed so that you can interact in a society. But go to the gym and look around. Walk into the gym with your shoulders held high and your head back, and you're going to get glances from all the guys in the gym. If you're male. If you're female, they're all going to look at you and judge you whether you're a sexual partner. And they will be looking at you for that purpose. And then they will suppress it and look away. But if you're male and you walk into the gym, they will size you up for a fight. And then they will suppress it and look away and go, I'm not actually fighting anybody. We're all friends here. But they're looking at you to size you up for a fight. Every time. I get away with a lot of things because I'm short. Because I'm small and unintimidating. But people still size me up for fights. And every time they dismiss me. Every time they dismiss me because they go, no threat, no problem. They're probably right. But what if they weren't? That's why I need to get into fighting. So that I can understand where I'm actually at. Should be interesting. I'm actually going to see if I can get somebody to humble me today. I'll just tell you about that I'm going to do this today. There are heavy bags, boxing bags, that are pretty near where I squat, and I've gotten to know a couple of the people there. If I see somebody that I know to any extent who's within like 80 pounds of me, I'm going to ask to borrow a pair of their gloves and ask for them to spar with me and humble me. Just say, look, you've got enough training that I trust that you won't actually injure me. And more importantly, you've got enough training that I trust that there's no way I can actually injure you. So why don't we just put on some gloves, square up against each other, and you show me that I can't touch you. And you show me that you can touch me, and you humble me really quick. Because I've got this thing in my brain that's like, yeah, maybe I could fight, and I need to get punched in the face. Teeaboo, I really need to go and get punched in the face by somebody who knows how to punch me in the face. And that will probably make me a little bit of a better person. Anyway, we're always suppressing ourselves. And that's part of the thing, right? Because you can believe in that suppression. And you can believe that you're not a violent creature, that you're not a tribalist chimpanzee fucking Z. You can believe it, and it's a lie. You are a monster. And if you don't realize that it's just suppression, it'll explode. Just like if you try to suppress anger or lust or anything like that. It will explode, and you won't be in control of it. We have integrated the suppression so far. These suppressed parts of us, which are still very much a part of us, triggers a cringe response in people. Almost anything that is genuine or heartfelt to a person can be perceived as cringe at this point. That's why I have a lot of respect for people who know full well that their actions will be perceived as cringe, yet do it anyway because it's a genuine part of themselves, cringe as it may be. Everyone's cringe in some way or another. I'm a cringy chuny case who spends his free time fantasizing about being an edgelord MC in an isekai world. Anyone who has cried watching an anime is cringe. After all, they're crying over pictures in a make-believe story. It's all fucking cringe! And yet it is all genuine. So long as it isn't bringing anyone any harm, why don't we just accept the cringe and get as much enjoyment out of it as we can? Because it hurts us and it shames us. In short, what I'm trying to say here is, Teeaboo, your bars were cringe, and I loved it all the same. It brought genuine inspiration and enjoyment to me in all its cringiness. The way you appeared on that video and jammed to your bars, bearing your genuineness in all its cringe in the public eye, made my heart go, that! I want to be able to do that someday with exhilaration and respect. I'm looking forward to seeing what you come up with next. Love your stuff. Love you too, Aditya. I appreciate your words. They mean a lot to me. Lunchbox. Ever since they met, Rudius has been consistently betraying Rudyard's expectations and pushing the boundaries of his black and white worldview, spreading it out. A child who was not crippled with fear towards him, one who would sully their pride and be mocked to supposedly improve their reputation, one who would collude with villains in order to advance their goals which he had not explicitly laid out to Rudyard, by the way, and one who would selfishly endanger children to reap maximum benefits. It's all these various things. Rudyard had made his intentions clear and staked his pride on protecting Rudius as a child, but as he told us in the previous episode, he is just simply unable to fathom what motivates Rudy to do and say what he does. He has not known Rudius for very long, so he obviously arrives at thoughts like, have I made a mistake and this child is actually a villain? And becomes more comfortable with threatening and intimidating Rudius in his frustration as he comes closer to making his judgment. But Rudyard has a click when he is finally able to recognize a piece of himself within Rudius as he resolves to deal with Nokopara. It's so painfully obvious because Rudius comes to the exact same violent ultimatum that Rudyard was resolved to lead off with episodes ago. I will see us through this journey, even if I have to kill everyone else in this city. Exactly. Nailed it. I think that's how Rudyard was able to recognize it without words so easily. Yeah, they connected on murderous intent. On honesty. Was able to recognize it without words so easily, and how, after cooling off and thinking about it, it helped him ease his suspicions and reflect on Rudy's actions from a perspective that he can empathize with. And then Rudyard leads with an apology to someone he thought committed an unforgivable act of evil, and to then accept and trust that person? That's such great development. I love it. This just feels really good to me. Really rings true. Me too, man. Me too. Johann Bowers. When someone discovers that they are, in fact, not the smartest person in the room and that their actions have consequences, it is a harsh lesson. Rudy discovers this in the chaos wrought as his best laid plans and good but scheming intentions run afoul of the harsh realities of this world. You do the right thing when it is needed, not when it is advantageous to you. That can be as bad as doing the right thing for the wrong reasons or the wrong thing for the right reasons. Life is too fragile to play games with. Then we see the morality tables turn, and for the first time, Rudy discovers what it is to be driven to a killing rage. And only Rudyard, because he's familiar with that rage and capable of dealing with explored territory, only Rudyard's intervention prevents him from getting blood on his hands and leveling the city. Yeah. Because Rudyard has already leveled cities, right? Effectively, in terms of the killing that he's done. He sees that intent in Rudy, too. Super good, and he stops it. Super good by stepping in and basically saying, no, I am responsible for this side of our party. So good. Roxy at the refugee camp gives some indication about the scale and scope of the Great Mana disaster that teleported Rudy Aris and presumably Ghislaine. Remember for a moment how many days travel it was from his village to the city. The AoE here is staggering. Yeah, I'm still not clear about that, but it's a lot. Cello, damn, claiming that you are the best anime reactor is a big claim. Hats off to you for having such big balls. Yes, my balls are very large. Thank you for noticing. And Julian Alberto Arce Sanchez, stupid side note, the collective unconscious is a Jungian concept, not Freudian. I'm pretty sure I said like Jungian Freudian. You're correct. You're correct. Freud had a lot more child development stuff that wasn't quite right, and parts of it were quite right, but it doesn't matter. It is a Jungian concept overall. Good. And that's a wrap, man. That's our comment spotlight. How far in are we? Tell me I'm not an hour in. Please, not an hour. An hour and 4 minutes. Jesus. Okay, I'm going to take a nice juicy, solid break, and be back in a second for episode 12. We are starting off the next core, so we'll jump into it and see what happens. Give me a minute to break it. Break. Yeah. Peace. All right, welcome back. We are good to go for episode 12 of Mushoku Tensei. I can see a green sea. We're headed toward a city that had an ocean on it. We're headed over the mountains after a bit of a montage going places. Detto Endo is going to make it there, and we are probably going to run into Roxy, Mr. Dwarf Boy, and Mrs. Elf Lady, who's really cute. And that's all I got. We're going to have a reunion of characters, I think, and some changes and some reevaluation of where we're at. Rudy's been on his own for a while, and he gets to run into Roxy probably. That's gonna be really interesting. That's about it. Let's watch it. BB timer. That is the ocean. Oh yeah. Great little cut. Also a great cut. Very cute. Your boots are all wet. Yep, that's very salty. He's from Japan. She's just gonna go for it. Turn around. Turning around. Turning around time. Turning around time. I would, yep. Just jumped over it. Wow. Oh. Ding dang, ding darn dang it. Pterodactyls. I love that we use lizards as transport throughout this continent. Another gateway. Another threshold into a new society. A more peaceful society, too. This town is better than the previous one. Higher class goods. And a fishing village, yeah. Were they just cutting up a big monster? I missed that. All sorts of peoples. Is that her? No. Ooh, lamps. Towers. Light towers. The flame at the top of that square tower. That's interesting. Yeah, he's a dwarf. Yeah. Oh, thank God. Oh, he's been puking a lot, huh? How dare you? Ojo-sama. Oh, they're right there. Ah. Yeah, what's he? Dumb puppy. Say it. Say it. Say it, motherfucker. It's something stupid about your dad. Nobody remembers me at all? Yeah. Not for somebody claiming to be a spirit, even if he's an obvious fake. 200 green ore coins? That's some bullshit. You gotta go find Roxy, dude. Yummy. Oh, yeah, okay. Money! Money! That's some bullshit. It's racist. It's fucking racist. Gotta find Roxy. Huh? Darn. That was my only hope. No, you can't sell that. Okay. He's gonna sell the staff, gift the Magi style. You're going back here? Awesome. Still you. Yeah. Have to make things difficult. Thanks to that. He would say, like, no, I did it despite that. Ah. I see. You're gonna get it anyway. Why would he tell you? Asshole. So he's a utilitarian demigod thing. Weird. Why not? I'm God. I can do what I want. Fuck you. Or the conscience. It's both. Still both! We'll die on that hill. But he's an external entity here, for sure. Oh, we're sparring. Good. Brad. Her rage is her focus. He lost focus in combat. Wow, just gave it. Ah, that's so cute. Oh, that's so cute. That's great. That's great. That's great. That's great. She jumps so fucking high. It's a bunch of street food. Interesting that he's learned to do exactly what he says. I'll just do it. He's gonna get attacked. He doesn't have his staff either. Yeah, I won't let him. Like Roxy. So we're building toward magnetic run-in, right? Is that the elf lady? Pfft. You're still like 11! Oh, it's the child! It's the devil! It's the devil lady! Yeah, there, yep. Ah! I die! Oh no! Gib snacks. Gib snacks! I think you've acquired a Senjo Gahara, and it might be a problem. A year? Nobody calls you anything. Nobody calls you that. Wonderful. Absolutely spectacular. No, she's legit. She's legit, dude. Uh-oh. See, this is somebody that you absolutely should treat as an NPC, because she is not a person. She's an idiot. And she's got eye powers. What's that? What? No, she sees him. No, she sees him. I don't trust in your ability to grant wishes. I'll grant you any wish that I can accomplish. So what are you good for? God damn it, Kishirika. Whoa! Wow, full impact phrase? That's actually wonderful. That was great. This time around, resurrection, right? Fiance. Bakamala! Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it. No, I'll take it. They do not! I'll take it. No, give me Demon Eyes. Yeah. I want it. The power to see. No, give me. Demon Eyes, let's go. Oh! No, this is great. That's power. That's power. The power to see is all of the power. Yes. Yeah. What do you see she actually is? What a mate. So he sees things a moment before they happen. Whoa, that is the greatest power, isn't it? No, what an incredible gift. Fascinating. It's like Marduk. Foresight. This has so many echoing ramifications for who he is now. I cannot explain to you how much the replacement of an eye via pain from an evil, believed to be evil entity means. 12 demon eyes. They're gonna draw him with that line throughout. Fascinating. He's looking at it again. He's still thinking about selling it. Yeah, it grants you foresight, the D&D spell. What's the limit? It will. You're still a better fighter than he is. possibilities. It's options. Can she alter intent? This is rad as hell. Unbeatable, essentially. You can tell what your opponent's gonna do. Ah, respect! She's gonna fuck with you. Hiya! And he sees it coming, of course. She has to actually give up. Yeah. No real. She's always gonna be actually a sore loser. But hey. Yeah, but that's a power you shouldn't rely on. For sure. You know, let's try it, bro. Hard cut to thwack. Wow. Wow. Yeah, you've already got all this magic and stuff, and you keep getting new gifts. It's some bullshit, dog. Why is the world so unfair? He is, actually. It's not your fault, but sorry that you feel that way. Right, it's not innate. Why should I be so happy about my innate skill? Very powerful thought. They're one and the same. The external goal requires internal ability. He's gonna go try to sell it. Yup. You would sell your truest truth. Are you sure about that? Yeah, but so do you. Oh. Yeah? Yeah? The unfairness. Even though your goal is to go with Eris. But you would exclude me from it. Thought we were a team. Yes, you do. Some things are more important. That you can see right now. Let me sell something? He's got the spear. Don't sell. No. It's as much a symbol of your bond with her. The spear. Whoa. I will sacrifice my principles to allow for you. The hardest. The most difficult. Roxy? Oh. Smugglers? Well, he's not trustable. What's this? What's this? It's the Core 2 ED. That was Sylvie. That's a hottie. Hi. Who's that? Is that Gallus? Hi, Ghislaine. Hi. Oh, that's the child and the lady woman. Okay. Imagery. He's Sky? He is not here. He is Sky? Why? Why? When will we transition to him being in frame? Lens, perspective, windows. Locked into windows. This is the liminal space, but with windows into different skylines, freedoms. Open it up and choose. Endless sky beyond. Blinding lights. Fun. And he's present and color. Excellent. Cool. And all of the story continues. Next time! So we're not going to run into Roxy folks, huh? Cool. We're just going to just barely miss each other. This is a cool episode. It's a cool reintroduction to the show, given the core break. And there's a bunch here that's not here. That's, like, not super in-depth. And I don't think this discussion is going to be super long, but it's definitely going to be enough. Some great, really great scenes of like the running, the angle that she finds as she steps into the sand and then it crunches underneath her here on that first step. It is really cute, and the whole sequence is really lovely as she's moving through and exuberant about the sea. There's a nice emotional touchstone for the episode and brings us into character faces throughout. I do want to mention this moment. Rudy's a sexual entity. It's a year later. That has not changed. There's also, I see nothing wrong with this entire scene. Not even a little bit. I know that it has to do with the who Rudy is thing and all that stuff. But as a 13-year-old going to a swimsuit party, God, I would be a very excited young man to go to a swimsuit party with a bunch of girls from my school and be like, yes, yeah, yay. Nothing wrong with this. Hoya! And then, of course, we get it shut down by Ruijerd, and they're both unhappy about this, and of course we're unhappy about this, because unhappy. Roxy! Missed connections. Really great. I actually really think that this moment is the worst shot in the episode. This one, right? Not this one. Not this one. This one's fine. This one sucks. The movement of the boat is incorrect. It's incorrect. They tried. It's not correct. That's the worst shot in the episode. By far. So that says that everything else in the episode is pretty darn good. Montage through city. This place is much more peaceable than the first city that we were in previously. That was a scary place. This is a familiar place. Markets, beautiful foods, colors, high quality goods, shops, things that are tasty to eat, weird creatures, different people of different sorts, all sorts of people. No threat from Ruijerd's presence, really. A cool city, an interesting place. Excellent. So we set up the characterization of these guys, forget what we came here for, and we just barely miss each other. We find out that our reputation is great, except for his, which is cute and hilarious. He wants to be known for his reputation. But, and he's thinking about it in some sexual terms. I'd love to put a collar on Eris, and guy, come on, no. No bondage, not right now. And we run into a problem. Money. Money, money, money. We're broke. Classic circumstance. And we start showing the staff in frame because he's going to move toward selling it. And that is the whole idea. Everyone says basically we're gonna have to come to this on our own. We're gonna come to conclusions. I'll try to think of something. Great. Everybody will try to think of something. And Rudy thinks, man, I'm the one who has to get us out of this again. We enter our liminal space. Okay. Hitogami acts in some ways that are very clearly outside of Rudius here and demonstrates himself as more than just the conscience. He is certainly an extant god in this universe, and I understand that. He still functions as a collective unconscious entity, if you'd like to believe him as such, and I would, and he still is. And let's go through and dissect some of these lines. So he can't see the future. If you just turned those crooks into the guards, you'd have been able to bond with Rudyard over it. But you decided to recruit them. How fascinating and unpredictable you are. I had so much fun watching you play out. Well, it wasn't very fun for me. And he says, well, yeah, but you made it this far in over a year, right? And we get a response. All's well that ends well, huh? Results are everything. So this is extremely important. This god entity just tells us straight up what his philosophy on value and morality is. Results are everything. Utilitarian. Straightforward. The means by which I accomplish my goal, whether they're lying or cheating or stealing, irrelevant. Results are everything. It's an interesting thing to say. Usually it is the dark god that follows that principle. Usually gods follow principles. Not this one. Hitogami is a man god. God-man. He doesn't follow those principles. It's all about the results. Interesting. Interesting. It's really interesting. And it's different from what the conscience does, because the conscience says that might lead to the thing that you want, but it's not correct. The conscience is a principled entity. Hitogami is not, and it pisses Rudyard off, because he's a hybrid entity. He's both principled and seeking results, right? Getting Eris home is my primary and sole goal. Everything else can be sacrificed for that, but wait, it can't. But wait, it can't. Okay, not an apology, but more advice. Buy food from a street vendor and take a walk through a back alley. What will happen if I do? I won't tell you. That's a surprise. Bye. Later. Fuck. Stupid. We get Eris fighting. It's a really cute, really cool fight. The movement that Eris has throughout all these fighting sequences is really good. We see the sand thing, the kick thing, the drop back down and grab the sword thing, flippity-whippity thing. It's really fun, really cool. We're going to skip through it. Roxy's there. Great. Roxy being there distracts, and this genuine pride in herself for hitting Rudyard is super duper dope, and we love to see it. Food. Not sure what he's after. Thought it would be something simple about charity, but it's not. It's Kishirika. Pass blue hair and wonder about Roxy. I think this voice is the elven lady. I think that voice is the elven lady. And he says he's going to go rub one out later. It's like, okay. Roxy runs right past him. Fucking hell. And we see Kishirika. Someone, food. I need food. Is this what it is? Is this what I'm supposed to take part in? Yes. And so we feed the weird demon lolly. And she explodes into powerful happiness and is like, haha, this will work forever. Now state your name. Ding, and her eyes go, and she explains herself. And the actual visual sequence is lovely. These frames of pow, boom, hoya, pow, hoya, gah! Hyper-colored, over the top, absurd, to be taken entirely unseriously, except that she is quite serious. Really good. Really solid and goofy. That's me. And he just goes along with it, right? He sort of understands the chuniness, right? And so he humors the chuniness. Even though he does not believe, he acts as though he does. And in doing so, this pleases her greatly. Oh! And these cuts... God damn, who are these by? Let me go to Sakura. Toshiyuki Sato. 3 minutes straight. Wow. Very funny tale of animators fighting over who could animate this scene. A real waifu war. All the animators wanted to animate the Kishirika sequence. Sato Sensei made it look as funny as I imagined, and that's wonderful. Awesome. Such a delight to watch. All the various cartoony expressions are really cute and funny. Separates them from the usual visual gag expressions is all the squatch and stretch and movement. I agree. Hope that he does future scenes. He's animated a lot of scenes on Trigger shows and at least a couple for Gainax. Yeah, that's a very Little Witch Academia style scene. A lot of those expressions look like they came from Trigger or Gainax or something. Or would look like straight out of Panty and Stocking, for example. In fact, I think Toshiyuki Sato has a lot on Panty and Stocking. Yeah, just some excellent, excellent stuff, really. Makes perfect sense to me. That's Toshiyuki Sato drawing her throughout this whole sequence. Very cool. That was all I wanted to know. And so we get all those insane faces. I beg your pardon. Oh, and she sees him. She switches her eye. Oh, disgusting. She sees him. Him. Maybe more than that. Maybe more layers than that. But she sees the him that we see in Hitogami Land in this moment, don't we? This is why she's like, oh, you're weird. You're unlike anything I've ever seen before. Because you're multiple people in one, aren't you? And he just takes it as like, okay, weird. Well, I'll grant you a wish. And we go through it and we're like, okay, what can I actually wish for? Sure, lots of money. That's not gonna work. So great. And I'll wish for half the world? Yeah, that's not gonna work. How about your body? Well. This is actually excellent and an extraordinary meme. Because he wishes for it and it is over the top. Whoa! No. I already have a fiance this time around. Wonder who that is. That's an interesting thought. So, shut down. You should be asking for an eye. So why'd you tell me what I should wish for something when you know what I should be wishing for? Because that's how weird things go. You should get an eye. And he says, fine, I'll get an eye. And so, ask and you shall receive. She will gouge your fucking eye out and implant an eye within you. The Eye of Foresight. The ability to see the future. Marduk. Eyes. Or Bel. The king who rules with eyes all the way around his head. Who can see all. Who can see from different perspectives. That's the ancient idea. That's the correct idea. And now our main character, someone who has seen different perspectives already, is implanted with a demon's eye. After coming to know a demon, after coming to know a Spurd, right? And coming to truly come to terms with him and understand him, he is implanted with an eye that makes him see as one to some extent, and gives him a grand sight of the future. And that sight is specifically what leads him to the interaction that has led him to the person that he needed to meet, who he meets at the end of the episode. It's confusing to see the world in this way. It's incorrect. It doesn't feel like he can see more truth. It's an eye problem at first, but then it becomes an eye solution immediately after. He doesn't understand it. Regardless of his short foresight, he still thinks about the staff and giving it away. It takes him about a week to get used to it, and we fight and we show that he has become more than he was. He's capable of fighting hand to hand with her, even though she's better than he is as a fighter, because he can see the future. This is the skill, again, it's the skill that allows for achievement at all skills. Just like learning and magic is part of it. Learning and the capability to change is the skill that, the capability to admit that you're not good enough and work toward change is the skill that allows you to achieve at all skills, because it allows you to practice and become. The ability to see the future is the ability to predict. It's a human ability. I would say it's the fundamental human ability, is the ability to imagine two courses of action and see and determine to some extent into the future what they would do. Okay? What will my day be like if I eat breakfast versus if I don't eat breakfast? I can imagine both possibilities. How will my life be if I go out and I find the first person I meet and I punch them in the face? I can imagine the process. Imagine the process. What will my life be if I go and the first person I see, I go, hi? I can imagine the process. And we can imagine a bunch of things, and it gets more scattered as we imagine it out, but that is our power. That is our power. The ability to fantasize a functional version of reality where we say, okay, this is the way that reality works, to the best of my knowledge. If I were to act in this way, how would reality alter itself around me? And we can think it through. Well, it's really simple. I'm holding this pen. From previous experience, I know what will happen if I let go. I can see it in my mind's eye. You can too, right? You can see it in your mind's eye. If I let go of this pen, it's going to fall. It's going to fall and it's going to hit the ground. It's going to go click. Confirmed. You saw the future. This is the human power. If I stop putting energy into my hand, it's going to fall. If I throw this at a wall, it'll hit the wall and then fall. I can predict what's going to happen before I do it. If I turn this bottle over, water will pour out. Sorry, carpet. You can predict what's going to happen before it has happened. That is your power. You're not sitting here going, I wonder what will happen if I pour the water out. I wonder what will happen if I'm nice to people in my life. I wonder what will happen if I punch my friend. You don't really have to wonder. You can figure it out. Now, there's a moment of chaos there, a moment of question, and the further away from the moment that you're already in, and the further away from your genuine understanding of things, and the more people are involved, the more complicated it becomes. Because if I were to go and punch my friend, there are a number of things that could happen. They might punch me back. They might go, ow, why? They might go, fuck you, I hate you, and run away. They might not even notice. They might just be like, hey man, I'm really trying to focus on something right now. Any number of things could happen. So the process diverges. I can only see a little bit in the future. But I can see into the future well enough to know that if I hold this piece of metal and I drop it, it will drop. And now that I've confirmed that that will happen, I can look at it and go, yeah, I know the future. If I drop this piece of metal, it will drop. And now I don't even have to do it to know that it'll happen. And I can choose whether I should drop it or not based on whether it'll happen. So longer term, it's like, if I go to work, I know what will happen. And if I don't go to work, I know what will happen to some extent. It gets a little fuzzy, but to most extent, I know what will happen. If I push a light switch, the light will come on. I know that, right? If I go and I'm mean to somebody, how are they going to interact? I can predict the future, but I can't see very far. But that skill is the fundamental human skill, and it is the skill that allows us to excel in all things. I predict that this business exchange will go well. I can imagine a world where I do this business exchange, and I can imagine a world where I don't do this business exchange, and I can choose which one I'm going to do. And I'll be surprised because the world will never align perfectly with my predictions, but I'll reevaluate my way of seeing the world based on the predictions and whether they come true. So Rudius is granted by an act of kindness toward Kishirika, and seemingly his continued growth of understanding of Ruijerd, he is granted the Eye of Demons, which allows him to see the future. The Demon's Eye, which allows him to see into the future. And the Mage's Staff, which allows him to express his power. And the knowledge of the world in terms of magic, which is science, essentially, which is knowing how things work. And if you combine all those things together, you start to become a whole wizard. Like a whole person who's capable of all of these things, who's capable of interacting with other people, who's capable of shaping the world around them, who's capable of predicting the effects of their own actions. Well, it's just like in the last episode, right? Rudius stands there and he goes, I predict that if we wait another 5 seconds, our reputation will go, shit, my prediction was wrong. If Rudius had been able to see the future, he would have been able to see that death coming, right? And he would have gone, act! Act now! He had to learn the hard way, and now he learns it. And it allows him to best Eris twice in combat. Here, and then again when she tries again. Because she tries to do the fake face, like, haha, yeah, no, we're totally friends. And he sees right through it. And he gets some respect from Ruijerd. But not enough. Yeah, you can see the future a little bit, kiddo. But so can I. You might have a demon eye, but I'm a demon. And that's about right. It's the same idea that we had a little while ago in the Kill la Kill episode where it was like, hey, Dad, I found out that doing push-ups makes you stronger. I did 10 push-ups. Now I'm going to beat you up. And you go up to your dad, you punch him in the stomach, and he goes, kung. No. No, child. Why? Because he's been doing push-ups for 20 years, my guy. Rudy has been seeing the future from the beginning. He's a demon. He is that. All right, so we talk with Eris, and this is really good. Damn it. It's not fair. I'm trying to catch up. And he says he's sorry, and she's like, it's not you. She's mad at herself for not being fast enough. It's like an imposter-y thing. I really like this moment. How do I put into words why I like this moment? A year ago, I don't think Rudy would be able to think about something else while in bed with a girl. He's in bed casually and platonically with Eris, and he's racked with something more important. He's not obsessed with this. He's not blind because he's got his blinders on. He's only focused on Poontang. He's able to think. He's not thinking correctly, not quite, but he's able to think and consider, and he comes to some conclusions. He comes to some conclusions, and they're wrong. Why was I happy about using this power I was just given to beat Eris, who's been training hard? She's been putting in the work. Gosh, I got carried away. I'm not supposed to be powering myself up right now. I'm supposed to be taking Eris home. Every worthwhile goal for humans, as far as I know, every worthwhile goal has to be outside of yourself. From my experience, from what I've seen, we fall apart if we focus inward. If your goals in life are become wealthy, become fit, become healthy, do this, do that, own this, be this way, all of these, you will fail every time. If your goals are outside of yourself and are for someone else or something bigger than you, you might not fail. You still will, but you might not. If they are, get fit so that I can carry my child, or be strong so I can protect my family, or learn to fight so that I can protect myself and everyone around me, or go to school so that I can make more money so that I can protect my parents and I can do something for them, or do better at my job so that I can make more money so that I can effectively pay for my child to go to college or something like that, or that I'm not a burden on my friends, or so that I don't have to be burdening my family with myself. When you have goals that are outside of yourself, they are motivating, genuinely. I'm supposed to be taking Eris home, not powering up myself. The worthy goal is to take Eris home. But here's the thing. You have to be strong enough to be able to do it. So he's wrong here. I got carried away. I'm not supposed to be powering myself up right now. I'm supposed to be taking Eris home. This is incorrect. Every bit of power that you gain enables you to achieve the goal that you need to achieve. If you are strong, you will be capable of taking her home despite dangers. They're one and the same. The shift should be, I should be powering myself up so that I can take Eris home. I should do these things for me so that I can reach out into the world. I should set myself in order so that I can go out and set the world in order. There's a line in a religious text about this one. Thou hypocrite, first cast out the beam out of thine own eye, and then shalt thou see clearly to cast out the mote out of thy brother's eye. Or, you hypocrite, first remove the beam out of your own eye, and then you can see clearly to remove the speck out of your brother's. Before you go out and start trying to alter the lives of other people, fix your own shit first. Put yourself in order so that you can order the world around you. And that's the fundamental idea that I've said, which is that if you are true in yourself and capable of expressing that truth, the world will self-articulate around you. You don't have to worry about it that much. Focusing so much on those outside things doesn't help, and except in that they are inspirations for you to change yourself in order to match well and be capable of changing the outside world. Do you understand what I'm getting at here? He's missing the forest for the trees. I shouldn't be working on myself. I've got to be working on taking Eris home. Working on yourself is a part of that. And Eris knows it, right? Eris is working on herself so that she isn't holding you back. You need to be working on yourself so that you can forge the way forward. But he makes his decision and Rudyard catches him. Hunched over, sneaking. He is caught. Mage roleplay, which is all cute. And he catches him exactly on it. I understand. Are you sure about that? Doesn't that mean a lot to you? Doesn't it mean a lot to Eris too? Isn't it really important? It means as much to me as that necklace does. So would you sell this too? Yes. If I had to, I would. This angers Rudy. Thought this was a thing of trust. You would destroy yourself to help me? No, we work together, remember? I've learned some things from you. I understand that I'm a spurred and I bring this pain upon you. Let me help work it out. You're still trying to work with me. So why are you trying to do everything yourself? Stop. Stop it. You might be a leader in this group. You have to let me sacrifice as well. And Rudius goes, but there's no other way. I've tried everything. No, you have not. You've tried everything except going against some of the principles that are here. And you've tried everything except talking to me. And Rudius says, but you won't allow smuggling. It's all a lie. It's all false. And he flickers. His shadow flickers. There's no point. It'll fracture our party. So I'll do something to satisfy everyone. And what Rudy says is, I will sacrifice my principles in order to allow for the group. It's like the conversation we had earlier. Everyone in society is giving up a little part of themselves in order to function in society. And one of the biggest things that Rudy has to give up is his perfect, pure, black and white, good and evil mentality. It might be wrong to smuggle, but results are everything to some extent. And while it might be wrong to smuggle, it would be more wrong to force my friend to sell something of value to him. And so I will allow a little wrong in exchange for preventing a bigger wrong. Once there are gradations in moral value, you can make exchanges, and you can weigh values. When everything is either pure good or pure evil, there's no, I choose this over this, when both things are somewhat evil. Because all actions are somewhat evil, and all actions are somewhat good to some extent. There's always a sunk cost, or there's always an opportunity cost to taking a certain action. If you go save a child, there's a dog over there that you're not saving. Perfectly good action. Failed. You have to be able to weigh values. And so, because they're hemmed in, cornered by these principles, Rudyard bends on the principles. And in bending on the principles, he moves away from the person that he has been this whole time, sacrifices a bit of himself for the collective, for the trio, for the group. And that's how he puts it. I'll turn a blind eye to all evil until we make it across. So look for your smugglers. This discussion is over. I'm the problem, I'll solve it. Let's find a solution that works for all of us, and I'll sacrifice a little bit of my pride, because that's all that's being sacrificed here. Not your power, not your friendship with Eris, not any of those things. Just a little bit of my pride is a small price to pay. How very different from 2 episodes ago, Rudyard, where insulting his pride that's death. It's death to insult a Spurd's pride. How dare you, right? That's kind of where we were at. It's a huge shift, and it's glorious. It's absolutely glorious, and it fits in with all the Hitogami stuff. Fantastic. I cannot wait for people to tell me the stuff that I missed in this episode, because I feel like I've missed some things. I think I nailed some great things, but I think I missed some subtext as well, and I cannot wait for you to come at me and tell me, not come at me, but come into the comments and tell me what's up. Love the comments and how they've been going so far. Appreciate you all and all the discussion you've been doing. It's really fantastic, and I love it a lot. Thank you so much for watching me watch Mushoku Tensei. I hope you've enjoyed this episode as we begin on Core 2, and I hope to catch you next week when we watch more. See you next time. Peace.